Luther's Small Catechism with Explanation, the Black and Maroon edition, copyright 2017, from Concordia Publishing House.
The sixth commandment: you shall not commit adultery. What does this mean? We should fear and love God so that we lead a sexually pure and decent life in what we say and do, and husband and wife love and honor each other. Question 67, the sixth commandment. Does this commandment apply only to husbands and wives? No, the principle of sexual purity in this commandment applies to all human beings, whether married or not, and to all kinds of sexual desire and activity. 186, Matthew 5:27-28. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. What does this mean? Adultery is not just about when someone gets a divorce or dissolves their marriage. That is part of adultery, but it's a much bigger umbrella. And it's not just about not committing adultery either. It's also a positive of that you're supposed to remain pure and chaste, and that you're supposed to have a right relationship with your wife or your future wife if you're not married yet, whether it's you're engaged or someone you don't know yet, that you're not supposed to break the things, that you're supposed to be looking toward what God has in a good relationship with marriage. This is important in our day and age because I think the lustful intent is very hard because of our media and our advertising and how prevalent pornography is and how easy it is to access and how our society has dissolved boundaries of what marriage should be and what we should be about in marriage and what we should be about in sexuality. It's so much easier today to break this commandment than it was maybe 50 or 100 years ago or even in the past, although it did happen. Sometimes people will look only at the guys with this. And now, granted, guys have a more serious problem, I want to say, with lusting in our heart because we're visual creatures. We look at things, and that's how we consume things. God made us that way. And in fact, it's a good thing that we would look at our wives as someone that we desire sexually. So it is a good thing, but if used inappropriately, if used before marriage or used outside of marriage, what we're supposed to do, then it is a terrible sin. And we have a problem in our society because our society is very visual. It doesn't mean that women don't have a problem with this either. Usually it's not just with the eyes with women, but it's also an emotional or an intellectual kind of lusting where you say, oh, I wish I had a husband like that guy because he talks to his wife or he is witty or he is charming. And so you have this kind of emotional lusting, even though it might not be sexual in nature. It's still a form of adultery with this. And this all goes back to how we can guard our hearts and our minds, how we can guard marriage and being chaste, how we can do this as husband and wife, how we can do this for our children. And marriage is a wonderful blessing. And so I encourage people, one, as Christians, get some help with this if you're having problems, and talk to other Christians, talk to counselors, try to say, hey, what can we do that's better with this? If you don't have problems, continue doing things well. Continue loving your wife or your husband. Continuing to be chaste before marriage, because this is a way that we can tell people about Jesus Christ and his words in our community, because we'll be different than they are. They'll wonder, they'll say, how do you have such a great relationship? Or how is your relationship better than mine? We say, well, I want to do what is God pleasing, and these are the boundaries and these are the blessings that we are given, and I want to do this for my wife and for my children, but I want to do it for my Lord as well.
The Lord bless your day as well as your week.